You've compared yourself to Nelson Mandela, Martin Luther King, Mahatma Gandhi. Are you really seeing yourself as one of the great martyrs of history?
No, in fact, that was taken out of context. When I mentioned Mandela, Gandhi, and Dr. King, it was in response to a question on how I felt after I was arrested and what my thoughts were. And I thought first of my two daughters, I thought of my wife, and then I thought about some historic figures who had experienced a similar experience. Under no circumstances am I comparing myself to Dr. King or Mahatma Gandhi or Nelson Mandela, though I must say all three of them were great men who have been an inspiration to me. And I think about men like that always, but certainly during a difficult time like I'm facing now.
Well, again and again, you've called your trial unfair because you're not being allowed to call certain witnesses. I'd not like to go over and over that again and again, except to say that under Stenard Sate rules, neither side is allowed to call witnesses that might jeopardize a possible criminal case against you. But let's get to the big question, which so far you have refused to answer. You've denied trying to sell President Obama's Senate seat, but you've been wiretapped saying, and I'm quoting, "I've got this thing, it's golden, I'm just not giving it up for nothing," a lot of expletives in the way. If that's not selling a Senate seat, what is?
Well, you have to understand that these were private conversations that were taking place over a long period of time, and taking snippets of conversations out of context.
But did you say those things?
Well, I think, again, I think if you hear the whole story and you hear all of the different tapes, you'll hear a combination of discussions in an effort to try to do the right thing and make the right decision. Let me unequivocally state right here before you and the whole country, under no circumstances was I trying to sell a Senate seat. Under no circumstances did I break any laws. And what I'm looking forward to is an opportunity to make my case. The impeachment trial in Illinois gives me a chance, if they allow me to bring witnesses in, to begin to put some of this behind me.
Just let me ask this one question. Did you say, in context, out of context, it's on a wiretape, did you say those things? The prosecution has said that you wanted a cabinet post or a high-paying job for yourself or your wife. Here's your chance. No lawyers. You're talking to the public. Please answer that part of it. Otherwise, you know, why are you wasting time on these programs?
Well, again,
did you say those things?
Well, I think that whatever the tapes are, they're going to come out and they'll speak for themselves. The tapes will show the whole story. They will take all the conversations in the proper context and show that what I was doing was working to try to make the right decision for the people of Illinois, and that I had conversations with a whole variety of political leaders, senators, congressmen, chiefs of staff to presidents like Rahm Emanuel and others, who incidentally said on Face the Nation there was nothing inappropriate in his conversations with me. I've asked to have an opportunity to bring him in to the Senate so he can testify, Congressman Jackson to testify, U.S. senators to testify about this whole process.
Yeah,
but there's a whole story.
We described why it's not allowed on the other side. I guess what I'm trying to say without pushing you again is that you do not deny, even though those sentences may be in context with others, you have not now denied that somewhere along the line you said those things. If that's the case, I'll move on.
Well, I can't confirm or deny anything when I haven't had a chance to hear the tapes. I can only tell you that there were long conversations with top staff and political advisors to try to reach the right conclusion and pick the best person who could represent Illinois and do the most for Illinois. And it's a complicated politics when you're trying to make a decision on a U.S. Senate pick. And a lot of what I was hoping to try to achieve was to be able to leverage that and create jobs in Illinois and expand health care in Illinois and protect taxpayers from higher taxes. When the whole story comes out, the people will see that that's, in fact, the whole story. This impeachment trial in Springfield, Illinois, if they allowed both sides to bring witnesses in and bring evidence, would give me a chance to be able to bring those tapes in that could explain a lot of this and have sworn testimony where people have to swear under oath whether what they say is true or not.
Yes, but I just gave one quote. There are many others that talked about pay to play and so forth. This is not. But I realize that even though you have this opportunity and you're going to be on other television shows, you're never going to answer that. But you know, you knew you were under investigation. And you'd said, if anybody wants to tape my conversations, go right ahead. So how did you allow yourself to get caught like this?
Well, when you're in your home having conversations with your staff, you figure that your home is a sanctified place and that your conversations are private. Let me also say that, again, when the full story comes out, I think you'll see there was no criminal wrongdoing, certainly no criminal intent, and that the decisions and the discussions were all about ultimately ending up in a place that could do the best things for the people of Illinois. What's happened to me is the sensationalizing of this by taking a couple of conversations, alleged conversations, that haven't been released to the public and we haven't yet had a chance to listen to all of them. And then the sensationalization of it has been such that I have a question, whatever happened to the presumption of innocence? And I have a chance to prove my innocence sooner rather than later if the state Senate would allow me to bring in those tapes, bring in witnesses like Rahm Emanuel, Valerie Jarrett, Congressman Jackson, Senator Durbin, and others, and be able to show that my conversations with them were appropriate and about doing the right thing for Illinois.
Okay, I don't want to sit here and keep asking you the same questions. I hope that after the impeachment trial you will come on with us, because we would so much like to give you that opportunity to clear things up. We hope we could have today. I'd like to ask you something, though, Governor, because our audience heard and read that your wife was going to be on with us today, and we looked forward to her, especially since she's just been fired from her job. It would have given her a chance to talk with us. But just yesterday we were told that she canceled on the advice of her family. Her father is an alderman and is quoted as saying that you use everybody, and when there's no more use, you discard them. Your wife's family doesn't seem to be crazy about you.
I think you're taking something like that out of context. That was back in January of 2005 and December of 2004 when my father-in-law was involved with a landfill that was operating, according to our Illinois EPA, in an illegal fashion. I acted in the best interest of the people of Illinois, notwithstanding consequences to me personally and politically. And on the advice of our EPA, I shut the landfill down. He got angry and made accusations against me that he subsequently retracted under threat of a lawsuit. It's obviously been a very difficult circumstance. That landfill decision that I made to shut down the operation until they cleaned up their operation was sustained in a court of law, and they were ordered to clean it up. And so what you're taking is a statement he made back then in January of 2005 when he was angry at me for protecting the public and protecting the environment at his expense.
Okay, well, I will stand realizing that it was said sometime. But
if I could say about my wife, she's a big fan of your program and would have loved to be here. This is a week
we would have loved it.
This is a week that's likely to see dramatic changes in our life. The fix is in the Senate. I fully expect that they'll, because they won't allow me to bring witnesses in that would show my innocence, and they're not even proving up the cases because, as you said, they're not allowed to bring in witnesses. Okay. Those criminal charges ought to be in a criminal court if they're not going to allow witnesses to be able to be tested and to testify under oath or the evidence to be properly heard. We fully expect that the Senate will make a decision and there'll be changes in our lives. So Patty wanted to be at home, and rightfully so, with our daughters, as our lives are going to significantly change.
We hear that you like this program. I don't know how you're going to feel after my questions, but we were very happy that you did. You have said that you're the victim of political enemies, that this is all because they want to raise taxes, all this money and embarrassment and everything just to raise taxes. But your approval rating is now down to 7%. The mayor of Chicago, I hate to say this, but you've heard it before, has called you cuckoo. The lieutenant governor compares you to the Wizard of Oz. Your state government is at a standstill. And you've said at the end of the day it was always about trying to do the right thing for the people of Illinois. I truly feel you feel that way, Governor, and you've come on and you know, allowed yourself to talk with me and to others. But for the sake of your state, for your own dignity, wouldn't it be better if you resigned?
No, that'd be the worst thing that I could do, because I'm an innocent man who's not done anything wrong. And when you're wrongfully accused and you're not given a chance to properly defend yourself, and here in the state Senate they won't allow me to bring witnesses who can help show my innocence, for me to resign would be to admit that I did something wrong, which I did not do. And for me to resign would be in many ways a way to disgrace my children. My 12-year-old daughter and my 5-year-old daughter go to school, and they hear things about their father. For me to somehow give up because some of these politicians want me out of the way, because it's all about raising the income tax in Illinois before Memorial Day, would be to essentially say to my daughters that I did something wrong and that they shouldn't be proud of their dad. So I'm going to fight to the finish because there's a bigger principle here, and it's this. Can a legislature take out a governor elected by the people 2 times without giving that governor a chance to confront witnesses, bring witnesses in, and prove his innocence? That's what they're doing in Illinois, and that's why I'm here in New York, because this is much bigger than me or Illinois.
Well, I gather that you're coming on television is because you want the American people to somehow rise up and defend you. I have to tell you that we appreciate your coming with us in The View. We want you to stay with us. When we return, I will be joined by my colleagues, and we will have more with Governor Rod Blagojevich. We'll be back.